All right. LDWMMAC. This is your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. You're live on the Coach Sheldon Harrison Combat Sports Show live. Okay, guys, I am very late to this. Just been working some long hours, and the coach just didn't have the energy, man, to get on here and get this done. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this fight, man. This is a fight that went under the radar, way under the radar, and a lot of people really didn't even know a lot about this fight. Only a few channels kind of talked about this fight a little bit, but not many people really talking about it. And I wish that the UFC would have really promoted this fight a little bit better. But you know, what can you get if your fight's on like the early prelims? And I think this fight was really close on the early prelims, so I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to get a lot of press. This fight was a lot better than some of the fights they had on that entire card. This was a good fight. Carla Esparza versus Virna Jandiroba. Jandiroba, if y'all remember, she had just won the Invicta title. You know, she had fought her way up to the top, and she got her hands on that Invicta title, and she was completely just going in and beating everybody in Invicta. But as I always tell y'all, that when you go from Invicta to the UFC, it's levels to this. But I gotta admit, this fight did not go the way that I expected it. Not at all. Let's talk. So Carla Esparza came in, and she was a slight favorite. She's a slight favorite, and Carla Esparza came in, and you know, I was thinking that Carla was going to test her striking because Jandiroba likes going to the ground. And so I figured, you know, you have two wrestlers, you know, so maybe, you know, who was going to go for the takedown first? I thought Carla was going to test her striking, you know, because Carla, her striking has gotten a lot better. But no, Carla immediately, when Jandiroba threw a head kick, Carla caught that head kick, and she did a trip, and she took down Jandiroba and basically kept her down on her back for most of the entire first round. So I was like, man, okay. So Carla coming in early and like, look, I'm finna wrestle you, okay? I ain't finna stand with you. I'm gonna wrestle. And that's what Carla did. And there are a couple of other things that I noticed about Carla that I'd have to talk about on Patreon. But man, she took this girl down, and Carla made easy work out of Jandiroba in that first round. And I said, you know what, man? Jandiroba can't do what she do against the fighters in Invicta. You know, she can't do that. Like, she was, you know, trying to really with Carla. She was trying to pick spots, and Carla doesn't allow that. She doesn't allow you to do that. Like, Carla is immediately trying to get the fight to the ground, and you have to immediately from the first round really establish your takedown defense. And I thought that Jandiroba did not do a good job of establishing that takedown defense, and Carla was able to do what she wanted to do. Carla did a takedown, and she did another takedown where she did a double leg. You know, she did a double leg. She shot for the double leg, and then she just ran right through her. I said, God, dog. And Jandiroba didn't, you know, she didn't know how to do it. It was a wrestling, old school wrestling, you know. Carla brought that back into this fight. Round two, I felt like Jandiroba did a better job of takedown defense. She started stuffing these takedowns, and she was anticipating them. And round two was her best round. She started hitting Carla, piecing up Carla, because Carla couldn't get the takedowns. See, I felt like Jandiroba, what she should have been doing is watching the old Bojangles videos, where Joanna basically showed you how to beat Carla Esparza. She showed you on 5 levels how to beat Carla Esparza. Okay, and Joanna did it. Didn't even have to take her to the. Didn't even have to do any takedowns in that fight. Joanna stuffed the takedowns from round 1 all the way to round 5. Until Joanna knocked out Carla. Joanna was stuffing them takedowns. And see, Carla Esparza is very ineffective if she can't take you down. And I thought Jandiroba did a good job in round 2, stuffing the takedowns and countering and doing what she needed to do. In round 3, I was like, oh, okay. What's going to happen in round 3? Jandiroba started out, you know, she was doing well. And Carla was like, nope, not having it. So what did Carla do? She got the fight to the ground. Again, Carla got the fight to the ground. But Jandiroba was trying to do a hip toss. She was trying to do that judo hip toss, and y'all know what I'm talking about, where they grab your head and then they try to rotate you over the hips and get you to your back. You know, that judo hip toss. She tried to. It failed. Carla Esparza did very good in the scramble, and she got top position. And basically, that's where Carla spent most of the fight. Just poor, you know, I don't think the game plan was right by Jandiroba. I just think that, you know, maybe they may have thought that they just automatically had the ground game locked up, and they thought that Carla would be afraid to go to the ground, but Carla was not. Carla took that fight to the ground, and Carla completely dominated the fight on the ground. I have no problems with the judges' scorecard. I thought the judges got it right. I had it 2 rounds to 1 for Carla. Um, Carla is looking much improved. Her stature, she's much more physical looking. She's much more physical looking. It's not easy to get Carla to the ground anymore. She's strong, man. She's real strong. And I'm like, okay, so Carla done increased her strength by 25% since the last fight. So it is what it is, man. Definitely good win for Carla Esparza. Yeah, man. So I wonder what's next, man. And I hope that they don't put. Now, Carla always has exciting fights, and I'm kind of shocked that they put her so low in the cards, man. You got a former Invicta champion, and you got Carla Esparza, who's a former UFC champion strawweight. Why did the UFC put them so far down? I mean, this fight was better than a lot of the fights on that card. Sometimes, see, like I told y'all, I just think the UFC, man, they do a poor job with the women, man. They just do. And yeah, man. So channels like this and BJ Johnson and Full Time, they'll probably talk about this fight. And you got a couple other women's MMA channels that try to say that they countering me, but it don't matter. Okay, I'ma still put out this video late and still get the respect and get these women some views. Okay, even if it's a few, but I'ma still do it. Congrats to Carla Esparza, man. I'm glad she won. And yeah, you guys tell me what you think. It's your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. I'm done. What are you waiting on? Support the best women's MMA platform on YouTube.